No. Hello, everyone. We're back, not live, recording our videos. It's Marius and Karolis again.
Hello,
And
everyone.
topic, Karolis is gonna announce now.
Yeah, so as you see today, I'm in a different environment, and it was just day on the rush, and we still had to do this thing. We had to do this on Thursday, but we decided that it was good for both of us to do next day. We're doing this today, and the topic is entrepreneurship, because that's what really happened today. Entrepreneurship happened today, and my goal for this topic is to really tap into the role of what role we play through our careers, through our professional development, through our work, what role we play in this world. So I wanted to start from Marius by hitting him one question. So in let's say last 5 years, yeah, what type of inner acknowledgements you found about the career for yourself? Because I know you was looking back and forth. You was like trying different ways of earning money. Different ways of living, allowing yourself to be by not doing at all nothing, and different other different options. Share a little bit of that, because that was interesting for me when you shared with me.
Uh, what do you mean inner acknowledgements? Like basically my insights
Yeah.
of how everything impacts me. Okay. Inner. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. Every time someone asks me how I'm doing or like what's new and what's happening and like how's life, I feel like life is happening and like I don't really have nothing to tell. And at the same time, I know that there's a lot of things or situations, experiences which happen. I just don't carry it on my shoulders and remember it like for everyone to tell, because that's my life, and that's I do share when the moment is right. So my experience is that at least for me and myself, I can't motivate myself just by money. There has to be more than money in the, let's say, in whatever I will do. There has to be something more, like a challenge. It has to be something where I'm gonna try. Because yes, in last 5 years, I went from working with amber, like making shapes, making jewelry, then selling it online, then maintenance, then then real estate broker, wine cellar. Now I'm in insulation, and it's like it's different corners up and down. Enjoyed all of it. There was hard moments, of course. Like that's why it's life, and that's why it's amazing. And this time for me, I've learned just to be able to see the perspective which is useful for me. So basically, if I'm doing insulation, let's say, and it's cold and I don't like it, it's not what I used to. Like last year, I thought that I will never be back to hard work because I'm so amazing and I shouldn't be doing hard work anymore in my life, and life has to provide me stuff like let's say this level of money and all the conditions, and I forgot to be grateful for what I had, and life showed me that I didn't learn my lessons. So here I am repeating my cycle of doing hard work for actually quite low money. So that's my entrepreneurship, because 3-4 years ago I was working for myself, like e-commerce with jewelry, and kind of was my own boss for my time and my money. Now back to being just employed, which yes, I do consider a step back. At the same time, I know it's a step forward, just to relearn what I forgot.
Hmm. Um, When you said this, I really remembered one very good saying. In order to know how to lead, you need to know how to follow. So it's really interesting because I have also a career shift, and I've been offered apprenticeship opportunities in real estate and so on, and I was like my own boss for almost 7 years, I could say, and it's challenging to reflect on that because in recent days, that I was like living in a comfort zone of me being my own boss, and this how to say, even I'm not even sure how to define this experience. A necessity at some point to enter the real estate market was like a slap of awakening, for my career journey, and it also pushed me into the borders of questioning what is my entrepreneurship, and does entrepreneurship include some sort of apprenticeship, so that's maybe really why I wanted to get into this topic today, because a lot of us, I know, who was striving for some sort of career changes, for building wealth, building businesses, and failure or even success sometimes creates a circle, like where we run like mouses, and all this circle is based on a financial position and our status in a society. What we really imagine, it's not even about the power of money or influence, it's about the status, which comes with money and influence. And this is where this really comes from, because what triggered me, it was my inner conversation about why I need something. And like, you know my position about needs, and that was like, what do you mean by need? And then when I got myself at the point where I was basically delusional at that point, you know
Yeah.
because that was some sort of insecurity of, if I will not jump in right now, maybe it will be too late, you know. And I found it, and I started to laugh. I
Yes.
I started to laugh, and I was like, okay, so how should I proceed? And basically, accidentally, I was in McDonald's parking with my friend, and just car drove near us. And my friend said, "Oh," to the guy in another car. He said, "Oh, mate, this is the guy I told you about." And I was like, "Okay." So there was a conversation when I was not in the room, and that guy started to ask what I'm doing, and so on. And then I've been told that this guy is sort of in selling the real estate and all the bits. And I was like, "How interesting it is," because the conversation happened like a month ago, and at that moment when I got offered, and I got a little push for that position from other person, that I would jump into apprenticeship or some sort of a real estate a career, to start building the knowledge, get mentorship,
Yeah.
and so on. And this guy show up, and I was like, how interesting is that? Like, this synchronicity is, if you aware about the stages of your entrepreneurship career, you can see that, like Marius told, he had that belief that I'm done with labor work and so on. But you never know how world changes. If we get some sort of nuclear event, everyone gonna go for hard labor. Because that's where eco community, sustainable community comes in. We support each other with skills and traits we got. And this job thing for me was like, okay, how can I start a job if I have my personal responsibilities? This podcast, another podcast, my two businesses. Yeah, of course they're not like big businesses. They don't demand me to be full-time involved, but if I want to make them big, shouldn't I be full-time involved in them? You understand? And this thing is started to generate the chatter in my head, you know. And I was like, I need to quit this stuff. And again, and then I caught myself like, why I need to do this? You know, why I need to quit this? Like, what is the point? Because it's all this inner conversation, you know, all this sort of huh, labyrinth, maybe I could say. I'm gonna sneeze 1 second. No, I'm all right. So, so basically, and all this labyrinth of thinking, you know, about the best way is very, very confusing because this word, the best way, it says that some other way is not the best way. The other way is less good way.
Yes, I can add on this just because I caught myself this week or last week, not sure, just thinking that comfort is already killing me. It's basically, yeah, I know the money is coming, so everything's fine. So, like, why do I challenge? Let's have a drink, let's chill. And that chilling kind of starts a different spiral. And as soon as we kind of have time to think what is the best way, should I go left, right, that means we already kind of comfortable with the position we got. Because when it gets tight, we definitely know where we're going. Like, we're
Yeah.
getting place and we're doing shit. When the position is kind of meh, it's okay, it's all right, money's fine, like sun is shining, maybe the job is not very amazing, but let's have a beer in the evening, watch some TV and chillax. So yes, I've noticed this on myself. One of my sayings, I do train 2 3 times a week, sometimes more. And one of my sayings is like, I don't want to become a dumpling. Basically, like someone who's after work sitting just watching TV, drinking beer, and having a beer belly. Like, that's one of the values for me. So that keeps me on track, at least physically. So that's the way I motivate myself, because small steps, which are repeated daily, gets us somewhere. Just depends what steps I choose to do today.
Yeah, really habits, what we do is what creates our patterns for tomorrow. um I can tell you one very simple example. I have a friend who like has I have not one friend who has a problem with addiction. I know them very well, you know, for some time. And when I had myself an addiction, I noticed one very interesting thing about importance of morning and evening when you tackling your addictions, and especially if it's some sort of addiction that affects your financial situation. It affects your business, your career, your relationships, like your important life factors.
Yep.
And so the importance of morning and evening when you quitting any sort of addiction is basically priming time. Because what I notice, if I wake up and I wake up with rush, with stress, with anxiety, I get into a cycle of anxiety. Then
Yep.
everything during the day becomes more sensitive. It gets me triggered easier, and I'm just, you know, back into the mood, into emotional state where my, you know, my stress hormones are up and my happiness hormones are down, and I need to increase my happiness. And what's the options today, you know?
Yes.
And how evening plays the role, because if we will look into a consumption thing, is mostly evenings, because that's the time when you know, after work you're getting, you know, you're getting laid out. I can relax, I can chill out, you know, painkillers, yeah. And if your evening is not set right, so let's say your evening is spent on social media, or you know, just back and forth with your other half,
Or gaming, yes.
or gaming, you know, um, from other perspective, gaming can be one sort of a gateway from that, because it gives you instant pleasure,
Yeah.
sense of reward. So if you are able to anchor it to the value of, you know, increasing your dopamine and exchanging gaming for the addiction, is
Yeah.
basically one addiction for another addiction. But that's how it is, you know.
Yes.
You don't destroy the habit, you change the habit.
You can't destroy, like it has to be replaced with something.
It's nor destroyed nor created, it's transformed. So same with habits. And my point, like a couple days ago, I had a conversation with my friend. You know, he's like, you know, about the job, about the career, and I was like, bro, you know, it's not about the job, it's not about the career. You know, it's not about things you earn money. It's about stopping this bullshit. It's about stopping that. And we started to go into the conversation, and I said, very simple example. I said, did you know that cold water gives instant 250% dopamine spike, and it's even more powerful than a cocaine spike? And he was like, all right. I said, just Google it, bro. Because and I said, do it in the morning, do it in the evening, do it every time you want to do stuff, you know. And just make yourself a habit. I want to do this, I go to shower, let's see what's next, you know.
Yeah,
And
sounds like a good way.
yeah, like a good way for me getaway was weed. I went from a heavier drug to the easier drug, and it helped me to fully stop that. And I was able to get back to my business, get back to my life, you know, settle down my emotions, and really, you know, get back to the things. But then I got another addiction, you know, which was you know, consuming my energy. I was not performing that way how I could perform, and all these bits was just, you know, killing any sort of result. It's like I was recently just doing my SOPs and going to friends post, you know. And one of the posts was, it's not that you have low results, you have low work ethic. I was like, this one sticks on the table, because it's like massive action, you know. It's everything related to that. If you struggle with decisions, if you struggle with addictions, if you struggle with the, you know, even basic self-care, you know, it all gets to massive action, and it's opposite of a low work ethic.
Yes. It's another thing which is was clear for me last year when I started training. When targets are clear, choices are. And what I've noticed recently that especially for men, as soon as the mind gets bored, we find something to do. And if there's no target, we will find a silly way of just distracting ourselves, doing whatever. And that whatever we will very much dependent on people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah,
That's
a
where
lot. Yeah,
this entrepreneurship comes in. Because when I lived in Lithuania and was working with jewelry, I surrounded myself with like business people, and my thinking was completely different than what it is now. And that thinking had a different impact on my life. So like the comfort zone was in a different zone, where at the moment is like completely different story.
yeah. It's for me. I even wrote short form ebook on how really entrepreneurship changed my life, because that was one of the most crucial points where I found myself really. And which was You know, when they say, "Tell me who is your five friends, like closest circle, and I will tell you who you are." That's fucking that's nonsense. Because uh, I can give you basic example. Yes, you are a reflection of your environment, but that doesn't determine your end journey. Even it doesn't determine your next step, because I was in different environment than who I am today, and but I never sticked with that. It was like a temporary bus stop. You know, when you go with a bus and you stop in certain bus stop, it doesn't mean you have to exit there.
Yes, and at the same time, my like I lived in the place where it was five friends defined me. 'Cause, when I was living in London and my closest circle was making like good money, my salary started rising.
Yeah.
And at the same time, now where I live, and people are just making whatever they're making, and their choices are not aligned with my values. I can stay away from. I can stay away from it.
With your values, or your point of view how life should be ruled.
Like that's not. I'm not gonna answer that fast. To just to answer that sincerely. But the thing is that I had to grow up, like to mature to the age and go through stuff that I could make those choices. Because before, probably like 10 or 8 years ago, I would be doing the same just because it's easy and like there's no reason to do otherwise. So what you're saying is truth, and what I'm saying is truth. It's just like depends
No, of
on
course, of course.
which floor you are.
Third floor today. Third floor, or in England it's second floor, because the first floor is the ground floor for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, second floor is first floor. So yeah, but that's interesting point, really. How, like, culture. Yeah, they just, for them is normal that the first floor is the second floor. What's second floor for me is first floor for them. You
Yeah.
know, so we are both right, but at the same time, if I wouldn't accept other position, I would challenge that. You know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be satisfied with that. I couldn't accept that easily, so that would keep annoying me. You know, so it's really same. We can imagine this in a difference between like people with who you are surrounded right now. That some of them are not seeing the same vision as you see, because it's about sort of a short clip what you see that is attracting you.
Yes, and another thing about like seeing from different angles, and it's just different truth, but not less truth than the other one. I really like saying we can agree that we disagree, but at the moment it doesn't go like we both understand what we're talking about. But especially like I met one guy when I was doing insulation course, and we would have very heated debates like
Yeah,
it was quite a while. I think about a year, 1.5 years that went by till I had such deep discussions, which like we lived three of us, and the third guy was like, "You guys, it looked like you're gonna fight soon," because like yes, it would go to the edge, and both of us still managed to talk it through.
yeah.
So shout out to Gintaras, and yeah, it was good time to do that, and it was very interesting to notice myself how triggered I get when my beliefs are challenged, and just to stay calm through that and kind of like what is happening. So yeah, those conversations were something something different.
Um, if anyone would like to test their professional patience, spiritual patience, the journey you already had, and if you say that you found the peace, I can tell you one type of event, one situation that you can put yourself in to test yourself. Uh, get into a room with someone very religious. I'm telling you, this is one of the best tests you're gonna ever have if your religion is different or you are into spirituality. It's wow. It's I'm
So
telling you, wow.
it's like,
I handled easier situations in the street than in the room with someone very religious.
so it's the same as that saying, go back to live with your parents for a while and see how far. But that didn't go for me well, because like when I came back from London, I did stay with my dad for a while, and I was like, I was loving it because the food is great. Like I just need to sleep and just eat all the time, and the food is cooked. Like don't bother. So yeah, that's another comfort zone where I thought we're not gonna get along as good as we did.
I will give you an example of I will not go into story of what happened between me and my mother, but we was in a tough period of relationship between us, and there was one point when I recovered all the damage what we done. I don't know, it just happened. It seems that it happened in a split moment, but it was a process towards that. So basically, when I started my healing, like I was consciously doing things on a paper. I was meditating. I was going into subconscious states and all this stuff. Yeah, it worked for me for at that point. And when I done the practice of forgiveness in my cellular level with the help of Dr. Juzana, uh, I understood really the point of like of oneness in my mental way. It was not that existential way, but it was a mental like I understood the point with my mind, and I was like that if everything is a direct reflection of who I am, and it is everything is the same. I cannot touch it right now. I cannot experience. How I thought. I cannot experience maybe it right now. We can experience it like just here and now. But the thing is, I started to look to my mother with full compassion. And I didn't agree with what she said. I didn't agree with what she believed. But I didn't hold it. But I didn't have any need to tell her this.
Yeah.
Because it was not about me disagreeing, it was about me accepting the difference in our conditioning. And I had I'm very lucky man with this thing, but my grandma, my mother, they are like Soviet times women, yeah. And
Yep.
the conditioning of a career is like, go to job, earn the pension and die slow, it's like, what are you talking about, people? For me it was like, when I was a kid, I was like, I don't understand what these people do. So but I'm very lucky man, because they don't tell me nothing, no, even know that they don't tell me nothing about this. They don't tell me that I shouldn't do this, that I should quit. Even during the very hard times, they knew about them, and they didn't told me. They was mentioning, maybe you would like to get some sort of a part-time job, and I was like looking at them like this, and they're like, but keep going towards your dream. So so this thing, and even like I'm saying, I had this very very poor communicational skills with my family, and even during those times, it was a relief for me, because there was no touching that area. It was like, just boy, go do whatever you want, as long as my mother always said for me when I was a kid, love is the most powerful thing what you will ever have in your life. And I never understood what she meant until I became, I don't know, 22, 23. Like, that was a direct experience of that. And I can tell you that driving your career, driving entrepreneurship, business, financial decisions, investments with love and peace, with no fear. The fear is a natural coping mechanism that you will have, but it will show you where you need to learn your skills, because if you will feel fear for a deal that can be negotiated into win lose, and lose is in your side, that's where you have to learn, because sometimes what is lose is not always the lose.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a lot in that, and especially when I started my mentorship journey, and one of the main aspects was conscious negotiation, and then I got into a situation where there was a serious people behind the table, and I had to handle stuff, and I was like, all right, and I stood my front line, with peace, with full trust. There was split seconds where I felt shit is hot, but I just got back into myself and I moved on, So that's really what I wanted to tell you today, what I wanted to share with you, because that's how different every experience is, but at the same time it's so similar, because the learnings, the experience, what we gather is through the same bullet points.
Yes, just as I said before, it's just different levels, different floor, and I guess at least for me, it's the higher the floor, the more intense emotions or feelings and states as well. Because the higher you go, the wider the range.
Uh, the more I started to have a conversation with myself about the wholeness and oneness, the more different reflections I saw, because it's like consequence of this change in you, that what we achieve,
Yeah,
we step into the spirituality of self-awareness, is like a consequence, like a butterfly effect of this decision, maybe I could say even unconscious decision of becoming one, is situations will come up to clean you.
to test you how sure about your decision you are.
And this test is even without the options, really, because when the test is showing up, you're fighting. Basically, you have a mental fight. I would call it a fight, because it was for me, because my mind was fighting itself by with old patterns, and my new patterns, new beliefs, was cutting the edge of old patterns, and there was like, no, that doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Right, so I think we should wrap up with entrepreneurship. So that's it for tonight.
It's just a simple, very short topic. We're gonna go more into things very soon. Just stay tuned. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Like, follow any channel you want from us, and looking forward to hear from you more.
Okay, see you next week.